Right.
You might have been in school with
It's
Irv, you know.
When I first saw Northwestern, I was amazed at how beautiful it was. You know, now it's beautiful. People should know that. It's a beautiful, beautiful school. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, are the Celtics vulnerable tonight? Will the LIV Tour find new funders? And Buster Olney joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with last night's NBA playoff games, the first slate of games in these playoffs where every game was close in the fourth quarter. The Cleveland Cavaliers won at home, beating Toronto to go up 3-2 in that series. The Detroit Pistons won at home to stave off elimination by Orlando, as both Cade Cunningham and Paolo Banchero scored 45 points. And the Houston Rockets won in L.A., beating the Lakers and once again extending that series. Wilbon, which was the most significant win?
Tony, these all had both entertainment value, real basketball value. You mentioned Detroit and Orlando with a couple of overall number ones going for 45. It was like, whoa. I thought Toronto was really going to steal one in Cleveland last night to then go up 3-2 and have a chance to close out at home, but they couldn't hold on to that lead. Cleveland got a much-needed win. Tony, the answer is Houston holding on to beat the Lakers, being down like 11 early, coming back. Again, no Kevin Durant, right? Austin Reeves back in the lineup, though. Yesterday, I told you I thought it was going to take at least a game to sort of reincorporate him into what the Lakers were doing so well before he and Luka got hurt. And indeed, that's what happened. I think he was 4 for 16. Tony, that Lakers situation now, it's not what I'm going to call dire. Because if you say to me LeBron James has got to be great and he's got 2 chances to do it, I'm still going to take that, particularly with Game 7 being in Los Angeles potentially on Sunday. But the Rockets, Tone, they're growing up. That was the youngest starting lineup to ever win a playoff game in the NBA last night with no Durant in that starting lineup. So, you know, they're figuring out something as they go, and the Lakers had better be real careful.
So I wish I could argue with you point by point. I'm not going to argue with anything. The answer is Houston. First of all, they won on the road. Cleveland won at home and Detroit won at home, where we sort of expected them to win. We could go through the details of those games if you want, but here's what happened with Houston. They won on the road against a higher-seeded team in an elimination game. That's precarious, Holmes. And both teams had key guys hurt. Durant is out and Doncic is out. And the other thing that you didn't go to, and I will go to it, is that it is possible now that Houston will do something that has never before been done in the NBA. A team comes back from 0-3 to win a series. This has happened in baseball. This has happened in hockey. It has never happened in the NBA. The teams that have gone down 0-3 are 0-159. Only 4 of them ever have gotten to a Game 7. Only 4 of them have done that. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. You know me. I thought the Lakers wouldn't win any games because they didn't have Doncic and Reeves. But if Houston were to do this, it would be absolutely of a historic nature. The other 2 series are playing, to me, the way they are supposed to play. For example, Toronto's never going to win in Cleveland. Toronto's 0-10 in Cleveland in playoff games. They're not going to win there, although I will admit, I thought Detroit was cooked. And they came back. Let's stay with the NBA playoffs.
Can't play, Detroit can stay in this thing. They can push
because
it.
Cunningham, he guards Cunningham. And if Cunningham, if he's not there, Cunningham goes for 45. Let's stay with the NBA playoffs and move to tonight's slate of games. All of them are Game 6s, so all of them are possible elimination games. We have the Knicks at Atlanta up 3-2. We have the Celtics at Philadelphia up 3-2. And we have Denver at Minnesota down 3-2. Wilbon, let us rank these in order. Which of these teams, the Hawks, the Sixers, and the Nuggets, is most likely to force a Game 7?
The Nuggets. The Nuggets are most likely to force a Game 7. Minnesota's without a starting backcourt. I know that this game is in Minnesota. They are going to be jacked up. I mean, it's a real rivalry. The teams playing don't like each other. And Minnesota's got to figure out a way to sort of hold the fort here. And if Joker, who people are now putting in their top whatever, top 20, top 15, some people put him in their top 10 already. To do that, this is the kind of situation where he has got to lead his team into a Game 7, which will be played this weekend at home in Denver. Can he do that? Tony, I have the Knicks and Celtics winning tonight. I do. I have them both winning on the road. I know the Celtics have thrown in 2 clunkers. I don't think there's going to be another one. Maybe I'm way wrong on that. And I think the Knicks have figured out something, and Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson are like in it now. They're in a rhythm. They think they can be the best team in the East and get to the conference finals and finals. I understand that about the Knicks and Celtics. But that Nuggets-Minnesota game, that's going to be irresistible. And it's just a matter of really, is Joker going to go out there and be the best player and say to the big Frenchman, I've had enough of you, let's go?
Here are my notes. You've read these notes. You must have copied these notes. You leaned over, you copied my notes. I cannot argue with, I'm not arguing a word of that. I'm not. I mean, I believe exactly the same way that even though that game is on the road, I give Denver the best chance to win of these 3 teams that we are talking about, because you don't have DiVincenzo, you don't have Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is by far the most important player on that team. So I don't know what they do, but here's what I would point out. I have said the same thing. I don't know how the Lakers win any games. I didn't pick them to win any games because of what they lost, and they won 3. So you don't have to listen to me on this, but that would be the exact bet I would make. And I'll go down the line with this. Philadelphia, Joel Embiid had a fabulous game. I don't think he can physically put 2 in a row together. So I don't like their chances. Boston is significantly better. If they just hit 35% of their shots, they're going to win instead of 18% or whatever. And I don't honestly think, Mike, that the Hawks are as good as the Knicks. I don't.
Right.
Who do they have who can take over a game? The Knicks have a guy. They got Brunson. If you tell me how much, I love C.J. McCollum, but in the last 2 losses by Atlanta, he's had a total of 23 points. So I'm tired of agreeing with you. Why are we doing this show? I'm done.
We agree. And now, maybe we'll disagree on this. To last night's Stanley Cup playoff games. The Penguins nearly pushed the Flyers to a Game 7 before Philly advanced in OT. The Golden Knights at home and Mammoth went to double OT with the Golden Knights winning to go up 3-2. And the Canadiens, they're also 1 win from advancing after bouncing back from that brutal hit in Game 4 to beat the Lightning in Tampa. The biggest win of these, Tone, was what?
Well, I think it has to be the Flyers because they just won a series. They're the team that won a series. They just won the Pennsylvania sweepstakes. They defeated Pittsburgh, which is no small accomplishment when you consider what Pittsburgh has been over the years. And the Flyers, this is only the 2nd playoff series the Flyers have won since, I believe, 2012. And they were the last team in the Eastern Conference to make the playoffs. Look, the Vegas goal is sensational. It's in double overtime, and it's shorthanded. And Vegas, in order to get to the first overtime, had to score a goal in the last minute of regulation.
Last minute.
Plus, Torts is there. Torts has been there for about an hour and a half now. So we are inclined, you and I, to like Vegas. We are also inclined to be happy when the Montreal Canadiens, when they win a playoff game. Because we all root for Montreal because it's Montreal sport and Toronto sport. So we root for them. But the Flyers, those 2 teams still have to win another game. The Flyers get the nod here because they won the series.
All right, see? Now I'm agreeing with you. We got way too much agreement today.
Really?
I could yell and scream. You know, sometimes I tell people, yeah, but we're loud getting to the point of agreement. But I don't think we're going to be all that loud on this. Yes, the Flyers beating the Penguins. Yeah. I mean, when you throw Sidney Crosby out of the playoffs, that's, it's still monumental. I know Sid is not the kid anymore. What is Crosby now, 37? Maybe we can get reality to check that math for me. So that's, I got to go with that. Yes, I'm rooting for Montreal. Sorry, I am, especially in the absence of Toronto. And, Tony, those dramatic goals in overtime and double overtime made it a very entertaining night last night in the NHL. I'm going to stay up late tonight after flying so I can see Edmonton. I'm still rooting for that. But, they're facing something pretty tough. I don't know about
I'm going to take 30 seconds here. I'm going to take 30 seconds to say something about the Pittsburgh Penguins of Sidney Crosby and Chris Letang and Evgeny Malkin, okay? They are to hockey what the Golden State team of Steve Kerr and Draymond Green and Steph Curry is to the NBA. They are big-time and long-time champions. And if you eliminate them, this attention must be paid. Those guys have played together in Pittsburgh 20 years. It's the longest time of any trio ever in the NHL or in baseball or in basketball or in football. It passes the Yankee trio of Rivera and Posada and Jeter by 3 full years. It's a big deal. Let's take a break. Coming up, why did Alex Cora pass on the Phillies job? We're going to ask Buster Olney.
We'll also ask him why the Dodgers aren't letting Shohei hit when he pitches. Ruth.
We can't have another show like this tomorrow. We have to disagree.
I'm told Crosby's 38, not 37, 38 years old.
Yeah.
38.
One of the all-time greats. It's a big deal. We've got baseball questions for our great friend and head of the PTI Farm Bureau, and I mean that literally, Farm Bureau, because he takes care of all my agricultural needs. ESPN's senior writer, Buster Olney, teaching me to grow potatoes in a bag. Let's start with this. We've had 2 managers get fired this week in April. Let me repeat, in April. Can you take us into the Red Sox getting rid of Alex Cora, which did not seem to sit well with all of the players?
No, not at all, Tony. Here's the bottom line. There's been a disconnect the last 2 years between Alex Cora and Craig Breslow, the head of baseball operations for the Red Sox, between Craig Breslow's staff and the coaching staff. And so rather than sort through that and mediate that, basically had a bunch of coaches and Alex Cora fired. I think what Craig Breslow is looking for, what he's comfortable with, is a compliant manager and a compliant coaching staff so that the game plan effectively comes down from the front office. They tell them, look, this is what we want to do, and they want the staff to implement it. That was not something that was going to work with someone as experienced as Alex Cora.
Wow. Wow. Man. Well, Cora could have gone to Philly, apparently, if he had chosen to. I mean, reportedly, that was offered to him when the Phillies said bye-bye to Rob Thompson. So, Buster, why would Cora say no, first of all? And any part of you surprised at the Phillies doing what they did?
Well, I'm certainly not surprised that Alex Cora got immediate interest from other teams because he's considered to be one of the top 5 managers in baseball. After he was fired, I was getting calls till 2 o'clock in the morning. People were like, what are the Red Sox thinking? Why would they let him go? Well, of course, he has a past relationship with Dave Dombrowski, head of baseball ops for the Phillies. They won a World Series together, Red Sox 2018. And not only did the Phillies want Alex Cora, but they offered him a massive contract extension on top of the year and 5 months he had left on his deal with the Red Sox. But he decided in the end, coming off that ugly divorce with the Red Sox, he wants some time off. Now, when Don Mattingly was named interim manager, that left the light on for Alex Cora going forward. They're saying that Mattingly's going to manage for the rest of the year, but nothing prevents Cora, the Phillies, from revisiting this in, say, 2 months or 4 months or after this season.
Wow. All right, we'll get off managers for a second unless a decision enters into what I'm about to ask you now. Shohei Ohtani, the Dodgers have chosen to sit him, to leave him out of the lineup, I should say, on days he's pitching. What is the thought there, Buster? And do we think this is going to be, more than just trending? Is this going to be something the Dodgers sort of stick with for the rest of the season?
Yeah, Dave Roberts, I think, is going to continue to do this. This, of course, the manager of the Dodgers, will continue to do this during the 2026 regular season. Not every start, but a lot of the starts, because they want to keep Shohei Ohtani as ready physically for the grind of the year and preparing for the postseason as they possibly can. So they know that he wants to pitch on a regular basis. They're just asking him, hey, let's give you a bit of a break on the days that you're pitching. We'll take you out of the DH duties. It's not always going to happen. And in the postseason, when they get there, then you will see Ohtani go back to being a pitcher and DH at the same time. And look, what we've seen from Ohtani so far this year, this is the best that he's pitched in the major leagues. So it seems to be working for him.
Yeah, I'll get to the final question in a second. I just want to tell you, Buster, you pushed all the Wilbon's buttons. When you said that a general manager is looking for a compliant manager, Wilbon goes crazy about this. Blames
nuts.
everything in baseball on aggressive general managers. So, no, he hates it. I know that. You mentioned the Dodgers. You mentioned Shohei. It's a very simple question. Who can beat the Dodgers? Is there anyone that, in fact, can beat the Dodgers?
And that is the overriding question now, with the Dodgers having won back-to-back championships. I'll give you two teams, the Yankees and the Atlanta Braves. I think this is the best Yankee team that Aaron Boone has managed, with the emergence of Ben Rice, their first baseman, Cam Schlittler, the power pitcher who's now among the top 10 starting pitchers in baseball, and the Atlanta Braves. Man, their offense is rolling with Drake Baldwin, Michael Harris, Matt Olson off to a great start. What's interesting about both teams, Tony, is that they both have help coming off the injured list. On the Yankee side, they're going to get back Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon and Anthony Volpe. On the Braves side, this weekend, Spencer Strider rejoins the rotation. Next week, all-star catcher Sean Murphy. So these are two loaded teams that are get even better, I think, over the next month.
Thank you so much for being on, Buster. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'll send you that potato information, Tony.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Tomatoes are going in the ground in 2 weeks. Let's take one last break. Still to come. The LIV Tour is looking for new backers. Really? Huh.
And will Connor McDavid and the Oilers force a Game 7 tonight? Maybe Farmer Brown will want to weigh in on that.
Wait a second. So you don't actually plant tomatoes and peppers and squash at a variety of homes? You don't do that? I do that.
I don't eat peppers.
Happy time, people. Happy 23rd birthday, Kalen Bullock. The safety for the Houston Texans was drafted in the third round of the NFL draft in 2024 out of Southern Cal. Bullock has had 9 interceptions in his 2 seasons in Houston. Only 3 players in the league have more over that span. Bullock also had 9 interceptions in 3 seasons at USC, including 2 pick sixes. This may be why his nickname is Super Glue. The Texans' defense was first in yards against, second in points against last season, which is what happens when your head coach was a defensive coordinator like DeMeco Ryans was in San Francisco. Texans have made the playoffs both years Bullock has been there, and Bullock was a Pro Bowler last year.
The one thing they weren't great at, Tony, was against the run. And they go out and they draft 350-pound behemoth Cade McDonald out of Ohio State to put at nose tackle. That defense, believe it or not, could get better.
Happy anniversary, George Rogers. On this day 45 years ago, the New Orleans Saints selected the Heisman Trophy-winning running back from South Carolina, number 1 overall. As a rookie, Rogers led the league in rushing and was Offensive Rookie of the Year. His 1,674 rushing yards is still the Saints' franchise record. Rogers never had a season like that again in New Orleans and was traded to Washington, where in 1986 he led the NFL with 18 rushing touchdowns and was on a Super Bowl winning team before retiring shortly after. The number 2 pick in that draft was Lawrence Taylor. Rogers and Taylor were the first players drafted 1 and 2 to win Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year awards.
Tony, you think your draft was good? How about this draft? In other picks, Ronnie Lott, Mike Singletary, Howie Long, Kenny Easley, and Ricky Jackson followed. How about that?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Happy trails to Saudi Arabia's funding for the LIV Tour. The country's public investment fund announced today what had been reported for weeks, that the money faucet gets cut off at the end of this season. The LIV Tour has vowed to go forward full throttle, and today announced a new board of directors and an intention to find new funding to replace some of the $5 billion that PIF has spent so far. PGA Tour boss Scott Rowlap tells the Wall Street Journal that he's interested in welcoming back, quote, the best players who can help our tour. Not every player can do that, unquote. I think the PGA Tour will embrace the multiple major winners and should force others to earn their way back.
Yeah, Tony, it's hard to imagine that anybody's going to come along and replace PIF's funding. The expenditures, the handing out of hundreds of millions of dollars alone to those players. Yeah. Can't imagine that happening.
No, that line is cut off. You should have been on that line already because it's now gone. One update, Franz Wagner has officially been ruled out for tomorrow's Game 6 in Orlando. Yeah.
Trouble
Let's
for the
go to
Magic.
the big finish if we could.
Let's do it.
Brewers starter Brandon Woodruff left today's game in the second inning after not even cracking 87 on the gun. Cause for concern?
Yeah, when you're sitting at 92.5 on your fastball, yes, you're concerned, and so will the team be. Amazon's going to air 3 Duke basketball games and become an NIL partner? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. That's like a bigger deal than Nike and Oregon. John Wall has become the president of basketball operations at Howard University. Does that make sense?
That's sensational for Howard University and their coach, Kenny Blakeney, and John Wall, who is great with kids and sort of a Pied Piper. Yes, big news for Howard. 7'9" center Olivier Rioux is transferring from Florida to UC Irvine. Your thoughts?
It's good for him. He'll get playing time. He didn't get any playing time at Florida. Last one. Will the Stars and Oilers force Game 7s tonight?
I don't know about the Stars. I'm certainly hoping the Oilers will force a Game 7, Tone. Little drama needed in the NHL playoffs.
We're out of time. We'll try to do better the next time. And a shout out to the 20 club pros from the PGA of America who played their way into the upcoming PGA Championship at Aronimink by qualifying this week at Bandon Dunes. And to Steve Delmar and Alex Hoffman, we're proud of you.